Good morning, Edwin. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Candy? Good to
I
good to be here.
well, great. It's glad to have you here. Really good to have you here. Edwin, I've been thinking a lot about the things that you do in the company called Fortress and a lot that you're doing with the dip. And I don't know if you want to put it out there yet about the dip, but I am so excited about that. So we have a lot of things we're going to talk about today. But first of all,
Okay.
Edwin, tell us about what made you come up with something like the dip in the Las Vegas. What is that all about?
Well, I'm a musician, obviously, and here in Vegas, it's an entertainment city for one. And when during this whole quarantine time, nobody's really been able to get out and experience any entertainment. So what I wanted to do pre us coming back out into the streets or the livelihood of entertainment, I wanted to create something that Las Vegas could literally hold on to, or people who come to Las Vegas could take with them, and say that they came to Las Vegas and danced and had fun. So I was sitting in the studio and I thought about it. I said, well, no, actually, I normally every day about this time I'm actually on the track, walking like 3 or 4 miles, and with my headphones on, and I was listening to a song. I was listening to a beat, an instrumental beat. I was like, you know what? I started dancing. I was like, you know what? That's gonna be a great song, the Las Vegas Dip. So as soon as I got back to the studio, I recorded it, and it was a hot song. And now everybody's talking about it. I mean, it hasn't even been out 3 days, and people are talking about, I love it, I love it. I'm like, whoa, amen, and amazing.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I was singing it, I was listening to it. And normally when I hear music that is, if I think it has anything to do with rap or something like that, I usually don't listen to it just because of the style of music that I like. Everybody has their own style of music. And
Right.
I enjoy Frank Sinatra, I enjoy, waltz, I enjoy things like that. And I
Yes.
kept telling myself, okay, Edwin is so creative. Edwin does some amazing things with his music. Let me listen to this song. So it took me a minute, but I listened to it. I was just like captivated. It's like I
Wow.
love this. I started getting up and doing my own little dips, and I'm like, man, I need to do a dip. And then I started thinking about the children in the neighborhood. It's like we could all get together and do the Las Vegas dip, and it's exciting. So I want to be there on your grand opening finale, the thing that you're going to have that you're planning. We won't tell them. We won't give the public too much information about that right now, but
Right,
I
right, right. It's
definitely
coming.
I want to be there. How does that fit in? Now, you're one of your avenues. I know you have a lot of avenues to sell your music. One of your avenues is a company called the Fortress or
Yeah,
Fortress. Why
yeah.
have you chosen Fortress?
Well, I mean, a lot of people, in my life, I've done a lot of things. Mostly, it's funny you say Frank Sinatra and these other guys. I'm really a classically trained vocalist, and my goal is to get back there. I went to college as a classical vocalist over 20 years ago. Ended up in the R&B world. Ended up an independent artist after being signed to a major label. And during my time of being on a major label, I always watched. I grew up as an entrepreneur in an entrepreneur family. My dad was business owner. My mom business owner to this day. And because of my entrepreneur upbringing, when I was in the record business and was signed to Virgin Records, nobody knew it, or nobody I didn't know, but nobody knows what's going on the inside. But what was going on the inside of me, I was scanning and learning everything I could about how a major label ran, how who I dealt with, what kind of producers I was dealing with, what kind of directors I was dealing with, how big the company was, where the company was, where they fly us to, where we lived, what the video shoots looked like, and with all these things, and then after leaving, I went back to college to become a graphic designer. And in graphic school, I never planned on getting a job because I never had the luxury of not making money, taking that time in school just to kind of be in school. I'd already been to school. I'd already done that. So I was older going back to college after a music career. So I said, well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. When I learn how to design something, I'm going to go out to the streets and I'm going to sell that something. So and it always made me look like I had a lot going on. People say, oh, he does a lot, but I really never really did a lot. I did three things. I did music, I did graphics, and, maybe a side business always. So those three things, and it always looked like I was doing a lot, So I was taking my education and I was building up on it. So a few years back, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I decided my entrepreneur mind kicked in, and I said, well, what does everybody need? What does everybody need? And I was like, to do business, you need leads. And I said, I was talking to a friend of mine. He said, yeah, you're right. I said, when do they need these leads? I said, today. Like we need to make some money today. We don't need leads tomorrow. We need leads today. So I created a company called Leads Today. It was a web development company, lead generation company. And my friend sent a guy to me. He sent a guy named Johnny Magnificent Mac. And Johnny, he said, I need a website that can generate me quick leads. So Johnny was my first client when it came to Leads Today. And, he kicked me off. So every time I talked to Johnny, he always had a great idea. So a few months ago, 3 months ago, he said, hey, I got something for you. And I was like, man, I ain't about to join nobody's business. I promise. I am not. I am in Vegas. We sitting, it's not, it wasn't all the way quarantined yet. And I was like, man, I don't feel like, hustling nobody. You know what I mean? I don't feel like, trying to convince anybody. But if you say, man, look, this is the one, it's only $10 a month to join. And I think you can build this. And I said, well, I always believe Johnny. He sold a seed into my life, as a business owner. He bought into me. So I said, well, $10, if you're doing it, Johnny. And he also had joined another travel business with me a few months, prior. I went to his house in Dallas, and he was like, him and his wife, they sat down with me, and I showed them a travel business. It was $20 to join, and they joined right then. So they jumped in business with me. So I just felt like it was another. Let me repay the seed, because we didn't make any money in the $20 travel business. We just all kind of like, we thought it was a great idea, but nobody really made any money or did anything significant with it. So I joined Fortress, and then one person to the next. I just explained it. Marquis, the same people. The guy who actually helped me, that started the lead generation business with me, he's one of my top three. I had another friend who was showing me her shea butter. And, I said, well, you can sell this on the Fortress. She joined. Marquis. Marquis is a dancer who was in a play with me in February. And, I depended on her because she could dance so well. And I was in a musical. It was a musical. So it was about 20 people on stage, and she was the best dancer. I guess her and I were like the best dancers, but I needed her because she was standing like right to my front left. And I'll be like, look, so when she would leave, I was like, everybody's watching me, because I would always watch her. So, Marquis became a very good friend of mine, and a necessary need, somebody I like literally depended on. So I called her. And she's like, what you doing? I was like, well, that's what I'm doing. I told her, and she signed up. And, and the rest is history. You came aboard, and all the other people who are in the downline. I ended up signing up 12 people to direct to me. And now we have like 45 people in my downline.
So let me ask you this, Edwin. Your name really signifies who you are and what you put out there, because I'm a strong believer that what you put out into the universe is energy, and whatever you put out, you get back. The heart that you have to not be so, for lack of a better word right now, prideful to look at something for $10. You've had a lot of success. You've been at the top, you've been at the bottom, you've been in the middle, you've been almost on all levels, and you have still maintained who you are. So when you have your music and you decided that you're going to become a part of a company that's $10, you did it not because oh my God, it's only $10. I want something for nothing. So I'm going to grab this $10. You did it because of the relationship that you had in listening to somebody who you respected, and you saw what they had and they gave it to you, and you in turn gave it to others. When you mentioned that you and Miss Marquis were in a business together, it was the grooming and the relationship more than any, because money these days, people people have it like a god sometimes. Their lives rise and fall, and the value that they feel they have is based on the amount of money that they bring in or don't bring in. Someone mentioned snake oil in one of my posts yesterday, and they said you're either this or snake oil, and many times that determines where a person's coming from. You have to understand where they're coming from, and you've taken all your experiences and you've brought it into something that's as $10 but isn't the all in all. You have your music on a site that isn't the most prominent. I mean, you didn't go to Hollywood and keep beating the bush and beating the bush. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. The Colonel of Kentucky Fried Chicken, he went to, you can't even say how many places he went to at his age as a senior citizen, and he didn't stop knocking on those restaurant doors until he got someone to accept his recipe. And you're doing that. You're building a business, you're helping people, and it's not even all about the money, but yet you're making money. So what do you say? What do you say to the people out here that are listening to Edwin Everyday Win Victory? What do you say to them as somebody in the fortress, and as somebody that's had success, and as somebody that has been at the bottom, worked their way up, and has experienced all levels?
I mean, I was I was always I'm glad you know me now, because when I was in the music business in the 90s, I wasn't the same guy. You know what I mean? I knew I was very talented. And one thing that caused me a lot of loss, and arrogance was killer. Arrogance was a killer. You would lose relationships, and you didn't, you don't even see your mirror. You don't even see yourself, when you're arrogant, you pompous, and you think that just because you are somebody more than somebody else, that you're better, and I have 4 kids, and I'm so sorry. I have 4 sons, and I'm not with my sons, and I never chose not to be with my children. I never made a decision to be divorced twice. And I feel like, I'm one of the most talented person. The gifting that God has placed inside of me. I don't know. I don't know too many people who get this many. But my thing, to a child who comes up from where I come from, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's who you are. This is what makes you so real, Edwin. This is why you have everyday wins, because you're
You
real.
know, yeah, my humility is the key. No matter how much money you got, there's a time and a season for everything. Most people want everything so microwave. Everybody wants everything now. They don't want to take the time to see the great growth or the rise of something great. They want it. This whole society is designed just like it's designed on on how much you got and how much you can get so fast versus just be patient and be humble and be nice and treat people like you want to be treated. You know, I'm not with my children, but I got a vision of my children coming back to me. I got sons, they're going to come back to their dad at some point. I mean, all of them, you know, so I'm not worried about that. You know, I'm more worried about not being a man that they need to know. I'm worried about being somebody that's different from who they really need in their life. You know what I mean? I don't want to be, I don't want to come back, you know, and I have to now find myself, you know? So in the midst of what's going on, in the midst of my personal life, I want to find myself now. And if that takes 100 years, I'll take the time, you know? But the key to winning is not how fast you go. It's not how strong you are. It's not how much money you have. It's, are you taking the keys, the 7 steps to victory? Are you taking those keys and applying them to your everyday life so that way when the door comes for you to open with that key, does it fit and can you go in? Simple.
That's
And that's
that's a powerful, 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 powerful statement to people that are watching. People, sometimes it's time for a change. Every time it's time to know who you are. Don't take his words lightly, because if you're watching this video, it's your season. It was meant to you, for you to be watching this video at this particular time. Edwin, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your everyday win victories. Thank you for being such an inspiration in my life. I appreciate you. I love you. And I look forward to continue relationships with you.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
So
Peace and love, people.